I'm not putting Pan's Labyrinth in 2007, the year of our Lord.
Which Lord are you talking about?
I don't know, man. I just have started to say the year of our Lord state random year when I'm talking to people because it just makes it sound so much worse.
I mean, especially if you say the year of our Lord 2020, this is one Lord I really don't want to meet. Anyways,
that's all.
Hello and welcome everybody to the AWKWARDCast, where ANY and Keyframe wonder about random drivel for the 150th time. We are still here. We are still doing it, and I dressed up for the occasion. I got a brand new emotionally exhausted shirt. And what better describes the 150th episode of this show than being emotionally exhausted?
And we thought, what is the best person to get for the 150th show? Something we've done 150 times, than to get someone who has probably made reviews or tried 150 things over the course of their career. It's Brad Jones! He's back! Yay! It's not Christmas!
I'm just hanging out here anyway, so it's like, well, yeah, I could turn on and do some live streaming. anytime I'm live anymore now, I'm just still in this bleak ass closet.
It's
literally a bedroom closet, or
it's literally a closet, isn't it?
Oh my
God. It's a bedroom closet. I could have lied and just said like, oh no, I'm at the studio and this is just a Skype background I put in.
No, but, I mean this is like
there's some clothes right here.
This is production value on the level of many million subscriber channels like Game Theory. Because we all know that MedPet started in a closet. He doesn't shut up about it. So, but yeah, maybe to still get into a little bit more of a celebratory mood, I brought the confetti again. And since you draw me in this outfit, obviously...
Hey, Brad, why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and why should people care while I get into my formal outfit, which I totally planned.
There we go.
No one should care what I do.
She drew me in that outfit, so... and I know she has this top herself as well, so she will probably...
I like your background where it's like, I'm inside this delicious 2-liter bottle of grape soda. But no, I'm over at youtube.com/Stone Gremlin Productions. I star on a show called The Cinema Snob, where I just kind of talk through and riff and make humorous videos out of old horror movies, melodramas, exploitation films, sometimes some religious films, stuff like that. Parody adult movies. We'll have episodes on those. Plus, we review all the mainstream movies that come out now that theaters are back open. We've gotten back into that, and also reviewing different stuff on streaming.
So the good old what were they called? Mid-ride reviews, car reviews? No, the ones in the car. They are back.
Not like regularly. We are putting one up later on today. We did a midnight screenings review where we're in the car talking. Like Doug Walker and I just did one on Antebellum. But typically, since it's just me watching a lot of these movies now, since the movie theaters were closed for a little bit, I've kind of rebranded and I've started doing a lot more shorter solo reviews. But when it's something that merits a lot of talking, like Antebellum certainly did, or Mulan that came out a few weeks ago. My wife Laura wanted to be on that one since she grew up on the original movie. Every now and then we'll do a midnight screening style one.
Nice.
It takes far less time to edit those, in that it takes no time to edit them.
And I guess the writing is also easier because it's like no writing, it's a dialogue, it's a natural developing review.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'll have little notes on my knee, sometimes every once in a while. But I have been enjoying just doing the solo ones. Like I can take a day and Tuesdays and Fridays, there's a lot of stuff that goes on streaming. I'll order some pizza or some Chinese food and be like, oh, I'm watching this Russian movie about an evil hell child adopted by the world's dumbest couple. That'll be my day.
Nice. You didn't find the top?
No, Brett put in one of my cosplay Tupperwares as if I'm not regularly putting on formal attire. But I did find a tiara, so I will wear that.
Oh, you were trying to find the dress.
Yes,
but don't you also have a top with this?
Yeah, my normal sweater. Yeah, I do, but I already got up once. And besides, I'm wearing my party pants.
My eyes, it hurts.
No joke. The first time I visited Max in Germany, I brought these with me, and he looked at me when I put them on just as houseware, and he said, "Those are the ugliest things I've ever seen."
My wife's wedding dress is right there. I could probably put that on.
Oh my!
Yeah! I want him to put it on, and then he has to leave the room after the awkward cast, and Laura's just like,
I forgot I had this on. Although I did find this tie, so I could probably
There you go. We all got our little bits of formal thing. We can say that Max is actually the most committed for once. It really is the 150th episode.
It is. And I even brought back the confetti because I want to point out the confetti never existed in OBS, only in XSplit, so...
Nice. But, yeah, God, that was a lot of effort for a bit that didn't happen, so... I mean, I found my Power Girl cosplay. I could have put that on. That would have been some kind of celebration.
Oh, my.
I'm going to forget that this is around my neck and go into Taco Bell and be like, I'm bringing this look back.
Hello, I would like the Taco Bell wine.
I would like the Mexican pizza since they're taking that off the menu. It's a very special occasion. It might be the last time I have this.
You bring candles to the Taco Bell, light it whilst violin music is playing.
But yeah, beside interesting advances on putting on your wife's wedding dress and getting Mexican pizza, what else is going on in your life, Red? Especially now that the cinemas are open again.
It's been, you know what, dude? Like with the movies opening and everything, like it's been great because I'm like the only one there. It's so relaxing and peaceful. 90% of the time the movies are terrible, like because like
the big ones do not get released right now.
I mean, when you got such choices like Tenet and New Mutants.
Well, there's those two, but like more of like I've seen, I think 90% of what I've gone to see has been like random religious movies that'll pop up, like sometimes not even knowing that that's what it is. I'll go into so many movies completely blind now, ones that, because nothing else is opening, so like a majority of it is just like the random little movies that normally would maybe only be in like 50 theaters. So they're movies that, like, regardless of there being like no attendance at the theater, they're probably movies I have been alone at regardless. So it's like such a quiet, peaceful like time, like just kind of sitting there, popcorn in there by myself, watching some terrible movie that's going on.
Already a Corona movie?
Oh, that wasn't in theaters. That was VOD. Yeah, it's all, so that Corona movie is all shot in like one take, but badly, not like in a good way, like 1917 or something like that. This was like, we need to make this movie fast. I got it. We'll do it in one take. That it's like 50 minutes of material, so they had to like wildly pad out the opening credits. The opening credits are like 7 minutes.
It makes me think of this one like Steam game that's on called Press X to Not Die, which is just a home recording, and it's awful. Oh man.
Yeah, that was those are my Tuesdays, is watching movies like that, and usually they're like 75 minutes long, but in reality more like 61 minutes because they always have really long credits in them. Yeah,
Nice.
Corona was bad. But as for movie theaters, like I'm like, for as much talk as there's been about movie theaters, I'm like, I actually feel safer here than I do at a grocery store.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently you live in also in an area where not too many people are jumping on the option to go back into cinema. Even
Well, with titles like The New Mutants.
really,
I mean,
that bad? I had hopes for
have
it.
you heard the
It's pretty
backstory of the New Mutants? It is. You can make a movie about the production history of that movie. I remember seeing the first trailer for it when we went to go see Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there I see it.
It's one of those movies, like it feels like you're watching a first version, not a rough draft, but like a first version of it, because they were gonna do a lot of reshoots of it, but then didn't, because like why bother? Disney bought out Fox and all that, so it was why bother doing any reshoots? So they really didn't. So when you're watching it, especially in the last act of the movie, there's all this dumb stuff happening, but I was sitting there going, this is really stupid, but I'm like, I feel bad for this movie, because you could tell that a lot of that would have been things that were reshot or rewritten or taken out. So it was a unique experience because of that.
Yeah.
Did you guys see it?
I haven't seen it. I'm waiting for the moment it gets put on just Disney Plus or something. When it gets put into a red box that I can rent the DVD for $1, like it just.
And it's not yet in
I feel
German
bad
cinema, I believe.
for it. Like there was a statement from one of the creator of the New Mutants comics being like, "Oh, they're making a movie of my comic. Wait, this is the story? This is who they're casting? That character's supposed to be black. Okay, better luck next time." Like that was the whole post.
Yeah, it's not one of the. It's just not very good. It's not hilarious. Well, there's some things that pop up in the last 15 minutes that are pretty funny, but like
Probably
other than
for the
that,
wrong reasons.
yeah, exactly. Like it's not the train wreck that was it Artemis Fowl. It's not the train wreck of an adaptation that was. Like more often than not, New Mutants is just kind of meh at best.
The worst kind.
Pretty much. I mean, at least it was short. It was like 90 minutes, so like it wasn't that long.
Dude, you have to make a big jump to exceed of Josh Gad ripping open his jaw and eating dirt.
Oh my God!
Artemis Fowl is an anomaly of a movie.
Yeah, I have seen the picture on every other thumbnail.
Ooh, yeah, that was that was rough. And then when that reminds me, the first weekend that movie theaters were back here, which is the weekend Unhinged came out. So I'm in the theater, and they still had up all of the posters from the before time. Oh. So they still had a poster for Artemis Fowl in the movie theater. Like I'm in some alternate universe where a little kid's like, "Oh man, I can't wait for that to come out." So also I went up there to get some candy. I got the Airheads bites. Mm-hmm. So I sit down and I start eating the Airheads bites, and then I'm like, they start to like kind of break apart in my mouth, and I'm like, "You assholes! This is the same candy you had on the shelf 4 months ago."
Oh, that's gross.
When me and Lauren went to the Americana a few weeks ago to go pick up food, there were still posters and marquees for Sonic the Hedgehog. And apparently when movie theaters opened back up, some theaters were still showing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, they brought back some movies that they've been bringing back like classics, and then they've been bringing back stuff that like Sonic the Hedgehog had only been out for a little bit of time before movie theaters shut down. So they brought back like I Still Believe, and I do love how they, at least over in our theaters, they'll still write classics on there. So you'll have like actual classics that are back, like E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark. They brought those back. But then it'll also say Bloodshot Classics.
Oh, already a classic. Oh my. But yeah, I'm checking the open air kino which we have around here, and maybe they're a little bit behind anyways because open air kino. But they open up as one of the first ones, and they just have Joker, Jojo Rabbit, Knives Out, Parasite, Känguru Chronik is in German one. So
you just went back to 2019. Maybe when you go in there, it'll just be like a. I've talked about this with friends of like I'm waiting for someone to have the movie theater kind of, you go in and it's just the year before chaos, and it's like, you don't want to leave. Don't you want to go see Joker again?
I mean, at this point, it's already so much time passed that you can rewatch them and it doesn't feel bad.
That's true.
There's some delicious irony in there too. Like walking in, and I even took a picture of this. There's like there's a long dark hallway, and at the very end of it is this giant standee for A Quiet Place 2. I'm like, this is just beautiful irony.
I one of my friends who works at a movie theater in Canada got back to work last week.
Yeah.
And just sent me a picture of, you want to see the saddest thing? And I was like, sure, buddy, why not? And it was just two marquees for Sponge on the Run and Scoob next to each other because they were supposed to come out the same week. And I was just like, that's just so. And you could see that there was a little kid staring up at the SpongeBob one. And I'm like, oh, you poor bastard.
Dude, yeah, ours still had the giant standee for Mulan. It was all wrinkled too. Like, you could tell that it was just kind of left there sitting up for a few months with no one entering the building. It's like, God, it's like in the Omega Man when Charlton Heston would go to the movie theater that was only showing Woodstock. Like, I should be sitting around this theater with just like mannequins behind me.
I feel like if you touch the standees, they just turn into dust. Just like,
yeah. Oh yeah. You can tell there was some dust on them.
Oh God. But anyways, so at least your life has been a bit lively. I'm glad. I'm guessing in your area, the Midwest, it's not too bad out there compared to us on the coasts.
So we're living, like, as far as like Corona is concerned, Illinois has itself divided up into different phases. So if you're in like a high risk area, so like around southern or some parts of central Illinois, things will be a little different than they are here. We're around Chicago, so we're in a pretty good phase. At least our area is. So where we are, the bars are open, restaurants are. I mean, there's a lot of safety protocols put in place, and like a mask mandate and everything. Our governor has been awesome during all of this. So we're living in a pretty good area.
Well, that's good. I'm glad life has been lively for you, Max.
Yes.
What's up? Haven't seen you in a while.
It's true. Yeah, I mean...
And let's get through our weeks quick, because I want to get to media, because, oh boy, I brought things.
Oh boy, that's a fair point. I try to wrap it up quickly. I mean, 2 of the weeks we delayed the 150th were my fault, because I dared to have a mother that turned 70 and a niece that heard her first commune, so... How dare I? I know. But no, what we actually did was, like, for my mom's birthday, a family trip where me, my siblings, all the partners, all the next generation downwards, and obviously my parents, all driving to the one of those, Landal is the name. This is a kind of bungalow vacation park. Not one like Central Park with a big swimming pool area, which I misremembered. They had a swimming pool, but it was a literal swimming pool, like a pool. We got an hour in there, so... I'm
sorry, I just like that your memory of Central Park was probably from the song Central Park, where it's like, and it even has a pool.
No. Central Park is actually a brand of those bungalow vacation homes in here in Europe.
Okay.
No, I'm not thinking of New York, and I'm not sure if they have any adventure water rides in there. Would be news to
You can dance in a fountain like on Friends.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, you guys
But
went
yeah,
there.
as Denim points out, you had to not rent the time in the pool, but you had to announce it and reserve a spot. Because
At least you guys got a pool.
it's true. And we played mini golf and other fun family stuff. But yeah, it was just a nice family trip. I got to pet dogs. And I first time met my parents' dog. So
The new
and
one?
so did Denim. So yeah, we got to meet Bella.
Bella's a cute one.
Yeah, and even my sister's dog Lars, who is a very very scared dog, he let us pet him. He even came and checked out the newcomers. It was a very touching moment. My sister didn't stop talking about it all weekend and telling everybody, like, "Oh my God, Lars! He went to them and he said hello." She was so happy because
dogs are just children that don't talk.
it's
like,
true. But the thing is,
and that's just a moment of motherly pride.
but this was this was actually not possible in the past. He was super scared. But then they went to some kind of training, like some kind of vacation home, not vacation home, some hotel specifically for dog training, so that a lot of people with dogs come there, and the dogs are constantly like surrounded by other dogs and people to just chill about it, to learn to chill about the presence of people and dogs, and it worked. Her dog is now chill, and the other weekend had a little bit of fun, fun drama. So the next weekend, first commune, big plan for Sunday morning. Probably the big highlight of it was that my mom accidentally cut herself in the finger on Tuesday.
That's a great highlight, Max.
No, the highlight is my mom's reaction. My mom is like, first she is like, okay, I'm getting my sister is a doctor, has a doctor's office and everything, and lives right next door, so she is basically my parents' general physician anyways, and I'm seeing her with a bloody patch on her finger in the bathroom, like sitting like, I'm not feeling so good. I'm like, I'm getting my sister. Getting my sister then gets her over, takes one look at it. Yeah, you're going to the hospital. I'm like, oh no, I can't go. My mom is also a doctor, I want to say, so she should know better. Oh no, I don't want to go to the hospital. Think about the fest, the get together tomorrow. Like, no, this needs stitches. No, wait, to the hospital. So my dad drives her to the hospital. Then she uses her one call. I was not aware that hospitals are like prisons in that regard. But yeah, she uses her one call to call my sister again. It's like, yeah, it's not just stitches, it's an actual operation. What should I do? I mean, they want to keep me here for the operation, but tomorrow is the first commune get together. And like, my sister, whoop, there went Keyframe. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Choose one of the choose one of the windows. It's yours.
Yeah, I could do like
yeah.
What say you, Senor Wences?
Excellent. But yeah, I'm afraid until she returns, you have to either scooch over a bit or
it's fine.
or be completely hidden so we can just see your shoulders. No, but the gist of it was that my sister was like, so if there wouldn't be this first commune tomorrow, what would you do? Yeah, of course I would get the operation, my sister. So you answered your question. You are getting this operation now, and she actually was allowed to leave. So she was able to come by the next day because it was a pretty standard procedure and whatnot. So at the end of the day, all was good. And yeah, this was like 2 weeks ago. I just had a call with her, and the stitches are removed and everything. So
was it the dissolvable stitches, or was it like the stitches?
Apparently, they needed to be removed because they kept my nieces from doing it. So my how old are they? The younger one is in school now, so 6-year-old, and no, the older one is in school. The younger one even younger, so 6 and 4 or something. So they wanted to remove the stitches, but my mom was like, "Nah, I had some nerve damage there. Maybe let the professionals do it." But yeah, besides that, I guess I also now have to stretch until Keyframe is back. Oh yeah, computer.
Yeah, it sounds like she got the blue screen of death.
Yeah, she got my story sent her off. No, I also went to the cinema, which I will come back to in my media this week. But yeah, it was also an interesting experience. So what they did here was basically they pre-blockaded like 3/4 of all the seats, like so that there were only islands of bookable seats left. And there she's back. Welcome back.
It's never a show without something going wrong. My computer just straight up blue screened, and all I heard was
yeah. So which usually happens to me, but
yeah. You're the one fancily dressed with effects and everything. I'm the one blue screening. What is this bizarro universe?
Oh, right. But yeah, to wrap this one up, so it was interesting experience with the cinema. They also made us fill out the contact form, so in case for tracing and stuff. So I felt good and safe about it. And there were some other people, so very slowly it starts back up. But yeah, those actually, besides that, not too much happening over the last 3 weeks. This horrendous person who moved in with me got me hooked on a new drug. So from this trip to my mom's birthday, we did a road trip. So we switched places on the wheel, and when I was on the passenger seat, I got the Switch. Playing Animal Crossing doesn't make any sense because you get only one island per Switch, so you cannot properly share this. So what is the other game she has?
Pokemon?
No. This train has passed for me a long time ago.
Okay. What else? Smash Brothers? Like what?
Still suck at those games. Breath of the Wild. So.
That's a game that fits your addictions perfectly.
So for the last, especially week or so, I played less PlayStation or computer than Switch.
Yeah.
And it's like. Even like on the weekend, I wake up earlier and I am like waking up, grabbing the Switch, Breath of the Wild, and until Denim then wakes up, has breakfast, and then's like.
Is that the reason it's so hard? It was so hard to contact you this week, and you didn't message me for hours on end? Was because you're playing fucking Breath of the Wild?
Potentially, because I'm not playing it on my computer, so I don't see Discord as...
Keep Discord on your phone, you dumbass!
It doesn't matter, I'm sitting in front of my computer, I just don't... It doesn't have notifications of Discord in my Switch. Or in her Switch.
You can look up!
Yes, I do that!
I'm gonna have words with you later, I'm mad! I'm mad that a video game is more important than me! Okay!
Yeah, that's going to be me, though, the second they put out that Super Mario 64 remaster.
Oh, no.
But yeah, so, I'm now sitting at home on my computer with my 3 screens in front of me, with a PlayStation hooked up to the TV, with the Switch. And then it's the thing, once she has waken up and had breakfast, it's like, well, now I need to do my dailies in Animal Crossing. And it's my device. Here you have it. Sure, honey. So, yeah, that was my week. Weeks, whatever. Anything noteworthy that happened on your end you want to talk about? Keyframe, or except for
Sorry,
anger?
I'm just calming down. I'm legit angry at you.
If I would have played Picross on my phone, no, I don't get notification for Discord either. So if I would have played Picross on my phone, I wouldn't have seen it either. If I would have read a book,
you could just turn notifications on.
Which?
Forget it. It makes noise. It's distracting.
All right. Enough with the bit. Nothing much happened. I had a big charity stream last week, and that went well.
You did.
Nice.
We did like a big stream on last Saturday for a little Long Island nonprofit called Angela's House. It was It's a nonprofit that's in Long Island that takes care of medically fragile children. So they have 3 houses, and they provide like 24-hour care for people who, have birth defects, fragile bone syndrome, need ventilators, that kind of stuff, and also help families who have trouble getting insurance for those kids, because insurance providers really love fucking over people with pre-existing conditions. We streamed for 5 hours. We did Fall Guys, Duck Game, Left 4 Dead 2, Uno, Sonic Adventure 2. We did a bunch of stuff. Max joined in for Duck Game at the beginning of the stream, and it went really well. We had a goal of $1,000, and we raised $1,200 by the end of the stream. Cool. That's amazing. What's not amazing about it is now I need to dye my hair white, which is why this is very, very pastel. I'm slowly stripping the color from my hair without bleach so I can then bleach it.
In my defense, I voted for black.
I don't know if that's better or not. I don't know how I would look with black hair. I feel like I would just look too emo, and my life is already emo enough, man. I don't need the visual representation.
Especially with how your hair falls.
Yeah, because my natural hair kind of falls like this.
How could
so
this happen
black,
to you?
It doesn't help that I wear black nail polish on one hand so I don't bite my nails, so I'm just going to be like, and most of my clothing is black, so it's just, I would just look like a fucking... I didn't have a goth phase or a scene kid phase. I don't need to have it when I'm almost 24 years old. I don't need that. Like...
Wearing all black but silver white hair.
Tell you, it's way easier when you shave the head.
Yeah, totally. Let me just, cut off all my hair. I'm sure that would look...
yeah.
I'll look like the girl from Doctor Strange, just with no hair. You could cosplay as Della Duck with the white hair. Okay, Lauren brings up a good point.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to figure out who has white hair, and maybe even Scorpia. Oh, yeah, right. Scorpia, you already mentioned this yourself.
I'm going to just look like Scorpia.
Yeah,
I got the muscles. I like hugging. It'll just work.
You already have ant energy, and if you saw the Drawfee episode of She-Ra characters, they also kind of described Scorpia just as a hugging ant.
I mean...
They did so not do her justice in the drawing.
Yeah.
I linked the episode below.
I mean, most of my friends are like, you're gonna get, like, sexy grandma energy once you have white hair. And I'm like, why are we moving automatically to grandma?
Yeah, there are enough anime characters.
Jessica Chastain from Dark Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Because I want to be recognized as something from Dark Phoenix. I could be a very problematic cosplay of Storm.
What? You are not allowed to put dark makeup on.
I don't want to put dark makeup on.
If you want black hair, you could have said I'm Stormfront from The Boys.
Oh.
If I did black, I could be, but then I'd be racist.
Yes.
That's arguably worse.
But only behind the scenes. When Stormfront is in front of the camera, she's
Jesus, sunshine.
Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah. Watching
no.
Boys Season 2, Kiefer and I, Stormfront gets introduced. What's the problem? She's too cool, she's too relatable,
like,
she's too nice, there must be a catch. What is the catch? Now we know.
Oh,
I love it.
Racism.
Oh my god.
That's quite
homicidal racism, that is.
I don't know if this is a spoiler alert to people, but if you want to know where we are in The Boys, I mean, we're basically
up to date.
Caught up, except for the newest episode that came out on Friday. We got to Anthony Starr wearing a lingerie nightie. That's where we are right now.
Oh my god, so good. Yeah, so when Stormfront first showed up and she's doing like the live Instagramming thing and like being kind of annoying, like I'm sitting there going, my wife says like, so what do you think about this character? I go, let me wait to see where they're going with it. Like, because at first I was like, I hope they're not wanting me to like this character. And then where it does go, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm on board with this now.
Yeah, I can't trust anything with The Boys. The Boys is that show where you just learn. It's like the husband that beats you up. It's like sometimes it's nice.
Also, non-revealing outfit, like nice proper outfit, not this hooker dress that they put Starlight in for the second season. You are like, she's too good. There must be.
Yeah, no, there was. I kept saying, "What's the catch?
Yeah.
What's the catch?" But no, that charity stream went really good. The Angela's House, the nonprofit, is very very thankful.
As seen here.
I was talking to their PR person, and you know, they asked me like, how did you find our charity? Because we're very small, and told them the backstory behind it, because that day I did it was 3 years since my dad passed away, and I was looking through Tiltify, finding things mostly based around medical bills, and found the name Angela's House. My dad had a cousin named Angela who basically babysat me when I was like a very little kid on Long Island, and my dad would drive her to chemotherapy a lot, and so it was just like, this feels poetic. This one, I pick you. And yeah, it was. They were just like, that's so sweet. I was like, yeah, sometimes I'm like that. My whole brand is that I seem like a too cool for school asshole, when really I'm a fucking glass of pink lemonade that turned into a person.
Well, that's a symbol, an image.
You were the one who made that analogy,
This
Max.
sounds like me, actually.
Yeah, we were at a pizza. Backstory: we were at a pizza place in LA. I think it was when you were coming down for Katie and Will's wedding, and we found a pizza place, and I was like, "What drinks do you compare it to? Would be us?" And you said, "Oh, pink lemonade, because you're really sweet and nice, a little bit too much for your own good." And I was like, "Well, you're iced tea, but black iced tea," and that was the exact things we ordered. And you were like, "Damn it, it's." But no, that was basically the one big event in my week. My life is boring. I have a routine. One of the coolest things I found was a Chrome extension that lets you make to-do lists that are itemized and timed.
Nice.
And it shows the to-do list every time you open a new tab. So I'm like, this is great. And making the awkward artwork. Oh,
yeah. Which was a story in and of itself.
Yeah, but this will slide into my media.
Excellent.
HBO Max is slowly becoming the service I use the most, which is not something I thought I would say.
Yeah.
Mostly because I've been able to rewatch a bunch of stuff on there, because things are getting moved onto there. So I've been rewatching a lot of Adult Swim shows. A lot of Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, which if you don't like that show, you are not American. Harvey Birdman is one of the funniest fucking things in the world, and I want them to bring it back.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a show where they took Birdman, which was an old like Hanna-Barbera character, and made him an attorney that represents other Hanna-Barbera characters in court cases. Like, they had Shaggy and Scooby get arrested for a weed charge. I think they had like a copyright thing because of all the different clones of other characters.
Yeah, it's a great show.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert is on it. He plays like one of the head guys. It's a really good show. But besides that, I also have been rewatching South Park.
Oh, cool.
I haven't had TV, so I haven't been able. So I've been like just skipping through seasons and watching, especially since they're having like a 1-hour special this month.
I can't wait.
I can't wait. It looks really good. It looks like they're going to make Randy into a stupid person, which is the best kind of episodes.
Yeah.
The thing I learned from watching South Park, rewatching it a lot, is God, the later seasons steer so much more towards Randy. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But you know, you can't go wrong with South Park. You can't go wrong with listening to the Boogers and Cum song from the Yelp episode over and over and over and over. But that goes into one of my medias. I brought two because my week was so short. One being a documentary that's on HBO Max. It's also on YouTube, and I really encourage people to watch it, which is called 6 Days to Air, The Making of South Park. which it's a 40-50 minute documentary on how they make a South Park episode, and it's fucking insane.
I love it. We watched it too.
Oh, it's so good. The only flaw with it is that they picked the Human Centipede episode as the episode that they built for, which is one of the weakest episodes, but you feel less bad about it because it was literally the first episode they wrote right after coming back from making Book of Mormon. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't expect a hitting it out of the park immediately kind of thing. But it shows, yeah.
Oh, and I was going to say, there a couple of things about it. What I like that they chose that episode because of the sequence where they're just losing their shit in the recording booth, doing the Japanese guy's voice.
The vanilla paste or the cuttlefish.
Yeah, the cuttlefish. And also, like, I relate so much to Trey Parker in that, like, when he gets, like, little things, like when he gets his McDonald's. And yeah, like, I'm the same way. Like, I'm the same exact way with McDonald's, where it's like his happy place and he just feels like good for the 10 minutes where he's having it, and like he gets like the same meal that I do. And I'm watching it with Laura, and Laura goes like, "Oh my god, you're just like this guy with this McDonald's and everything." I'm like, I relate.
My favorite moment from it, and then I'll go into what it's about, is having two of, like, I think the animators or something there being like, no one goes into the writing room, but we could tell if Trey, of when we're going to have a short day at the office or a long day at the office, if Trey is going like this and Matt is pulling his hair out, it's like, oh, we're going to be here all night. But no, it's because
sleep on the couch.
Yeah, because a usual episode for a show takes like 4 weeks, 5 weeks to make. An episode of South Park is done 6 days before it airs on television, from conception to it being sent to the thing to be put to Comedy Central's airtime. And this whole documentary just shows from the coming up with ideas to voicing it to them making the assets, storyboarding it. And I find that insane. And they fully acknowledge, this is not the rule. This is the exception. This is South Park. But it's funny because you could see them making parts and recording parts basically from the seat of their pants, because they're just like, so the show has to air in 2 days and we don't have an ending. It's fucking great, and I just find it so fascinating because Matt and Trey are obviously not in their element anymore, because they spent like months upon months upon months working on Book of Mormon right before it, and they keep showing those things. And then they also have little like tidbits of them meeting, how they were like living in a 1 futon apartment when they were starting. The whole thing of the Miracle of Christmas, their original short. Yeah. How it got shared on VHS tapes before the internet. And the thing was, people were getting jobs claiming they were the people who made the Miracle of Christmas because Matt and Trey never put their name on it. Wow. And like Fox denying them before Comedy Central picked them up because they were like, people don't want to watch kids. And all this kind of stuff. It was great. My favorite thing, though, is them talking about how they were tripping on acid while going to the Oscars. Because Trey took Matt as his +1, and they wore dresses to the Oscars. And they were having acid. So you just have them walking down the red carpet, trying not to acknowledge their dresses while tripping their balls. And they're like, you know what's the worst feeling to ever experience? The high of being on acid tapering out while you're sitting during the Academy Awards.
Like that took balls, man. Like, all the respect in the world.
Like, dude, I have made it a pact. I think I've told my friend Lauren, this, is that if I ever get nominated for like best short film or something, I am taking my friends. We are doing like some kind of group, like we're gonna just dress as Sgt. Peppers. And go into the Oscars, because the Oscars is a fucking joke, and even Matt and Trey acknowledge that. It's like, might as well treat it as a joke. Yeah. I want to look stupid. And then if I win, I'm going to go up there and be like, where's my Tesla? Have an animated film win Best Picture, and I bet I won't see you guys next year. Let's see if the Academy blacklists me. Bye, guys, and then leave. Because that's a legacy.
That would be one.
That's how
Indeed.
Ricky Gervais keeps getting invited to be host. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But no, I really recommend this documentary, and I've been recommending more and more documentaries.
Yeah.
And I know documentaries are like divisive because some people are just not nonfiction fans. But the pure chaos of making a South Park episode, I think anyone would find fascinating.
So there are fictional adventure movies less spectacular than this one.
I would say so. Like it's just crazy. And seeing the mental breakdown that Trey has, it's when he's saying like, this McDonald's is the happiest thing in my life right now.
Yeah, it's like it just makes me happy for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and he's just pointing out like his Lego sets because he makes Lego figurines to calm himself down. And I'm just like, oh, how are you not the dad of you two? Because Matt's the one with the wife and kid. And it's fucking great. Also, you get to see recording sessions, especially of Trey doing Cartman before he gets pitched up and being like, oh, I know, the F word is a no word. I love hearing them do the voices before they get pitched up because it sounds so stupid. Also, it's a surreal thing to see Bill Hader in the writing room because he's an executive producer for the show. So you just see Bill Hader just sitting there laughing at people at them talking about shit being shat into a person's mouth. Like, it's just... Oh no, the funniest part is the poor producer that has to call the FCC when they're writing the episode.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
she just sits there on the phone. It's like, so the part where they shit into the other person's mouth, we're not seeing, actual shit yet in the version I see. Yeah. Happy Easter to you too. Like that. It's so good. I really recommend this, especially if you're a South Park fan.
No, totally.
Yeah.
Like I remember watching it when it first aired on Comedy Central, the documentary, when Comedy Central first aired it, and that was my first time knowing Bill Hader had anything to do with South Park.
I know, right? Oh, it's great. But no, my second little thing, because it's small, I didn't have like a thing to make it a full media, but I need to talk about it because I only found out about this yesterday.
Oh my.
There is a 7-year-long running festival in Wisconsin called Shrekfest.
Oh, is there really?
Yes,
Nice.
there's a real festival called Shrekfest. You can look up just Shrekfest 2019 or something in YouTube, and they made a full-on video about it.
Yeah.
And it's been running for 7 years. And I'm shocked of the commitment because there's hundreds of people there.
Whoa, dude. Yeah, I'm looking at some of the... Are they still doing it this year?
Yeah, they did an online one yesterday. Like, they did an online one, and they're going to be doing another one next year. And fucking... I thought, like, this can't be real.
Oh, this is great. See, Shrek the Third is the movie of its time.
Right. But, like, it's so... Because they start with all these news reports, and they have a bunch of people cosplaying as Shrek. They have, like, there's someone who goes around dressed as Shrek as Jesus. They have an onion eating competition where this person named Sam is a 3-time onion eating champion, just eating raw onions.
I could do that. I love onions.
They have live music. They do a screening of Shrek. It's fucking insane because I'm just looking at this. It looks like a music festival.
Some of the cosplays are really good. Oh yeah, there's the eating. Oh, onion eating.
Is it like a collection of like Smash Mouth cover bands?
Yes, they have some. There was one band called Pepe Sylvia, and they're playing "I'm a Believer." And
yes.
they do like fucking what's the Counting Crows, like just the Shrek soundtrack.
Oh hell yeah!
And it's just. What does this park think when they have to rent out the area for Shrekfest every year?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, is it like BronyCon in Baltimore where they just kind of get used to it and they're like, oh yeah, during this one day a year, there's just a bunch of ogres in our park. Mm-hmm. And you could see people bring families. Like there's whole families. People are like grilling onions on little barbecue grills. People
I hope
take
they
this
do.
seriously.
I hope they do like an outdoor screening of like the episode of Father of the Pride that Donkey was on.
Oh my god, I'd love that. I did go up to my boss Will and was like, "Can we make a business expense to have DA Games perform at Fest?"
Yeah,
And
dude.
Will was like, "No, Chrissy, we're not doing that." And I was like, "Why not? Because none of our songs have the same BPM as All Star. We can't mash it up with it." I was like, "Yeah, there's the onion eating contest." God,
Yes.
man has won this onion eating competition for 3 years. Apparently they train. They eat an onion a day.
I mean, Jim Sterling did at some point in his life.
I know, but you have to eat a whole onion so fast. Do you know how acidic an onion is?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love onions. I'd give it a try.
Here's the thing, we were watching these videos because apparently the event started as a fake Facebook event, and then people were like, no, we're going to make it real. And it's just been happening for 7 years. Apparently they are the same people who facilitate that Shrek Retold thing where the huge collective, which they're making a Shrek 2 Retold, which is great. And it's just, I was sitting there watching these videos because they have one for every year. And my friend Chi-Chi said, "Hey, Chrissy, yeah, I kind of want to go." And I was like, I know, right? Because we made it think, how is this any different than furries and bronies and fandoms? It's just Shrek. And they're having fun. They're not hurting anyone. I mean, except their stomachs eating these onions, but like... It looks like fun. It looks like people who don't take themselves seriously.
I don't know. It looks like a guy who's about to throw up.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some public drunkenness going on.
No, I mean because he tried to eat an entire onion for the second time.
He did it. Look, he won his belt, his trophy. Oh yeah, he also gets a full-on trophy for
the golden onion.
The golden onion, yeah.
Oh no, the golden
they
track.
Have a roar competition where people just scream into the mic, and this poor kid broke the microphone by accident. But I need to share the magic of Shrek Fest with people.
It's true.
Just for the fact that this exists, and I want to do it. Because what else is there to do in Wisconsin? I think that's the weirdest part about it, is that they're holding it in Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, I think you could. Wisconsin has pretty lax like laws right now as far as like masking goes and things like that. So that's probably how they can. That's probably how they can do it. I had a buddy of mine who went up to Wisconsin to like visit some things. When he came back, he was like, "I've got to quarantine for like 2 weeks." Like it was like lawlessness up there.
You can't tell me that you look at all these clips and there's not that little part of you that's like, I kind of want to see it in person.
Oh yeah, it's not that. I imagine it's not that far from me.
Brad, let's go to Shrek Fest 2021 again.
I know. Like, I'd be so down. I'd do it.
I totally do it, man.
I'm like, I need to experience this, especially because I kick myself. You guys remember DashCon?
I remember the
Tumblr thing. That was also not far from where I was living, and I've kicked myself ever since for not being like, I should go to say that I was there.
Yeah.
Hindsight.
So, yeah, I just want to talk about Shrek Fest, because after you're done watching the South Park documentary, go to the Shrek Fest Patreon and help them get have money to run these conventions, because it's a good cause. It's helping camaraderie through ogres.
Wait. Ooh, yeah.
But yeah, that's my stupid bullshit I watched this week.
Nice. Brett, Ethan, what have you brought for show and tell?
The best things that I've watched recently are when you mentioned HBO Max and documentary, I thought you were gonna say this at first, but I was like, oh right, yeah, the South Park one's really damn good. No, have you guys watched Class Action Park?
I've been meaning to. It's on my list.
It's oh my god, it's like it's probably the best movie I've seen so far this year. Where it's the documentary about Action Park, that went for like mid 70s to like late 80s or something like that. And speaking of lawlessness, this is essentially what it was, basically a real life like 80s shenanigans movie where everything is dangerous. Everything, it's like you're watching an 80s slasher movie if the park was the killer.
Yeah, Action Park is. I have cousins who went to Action Park because it's in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And they said, I think the worst injuries I've ever gotten were from Action Park. There's a whole defunct land about Action Park and just how many people have gotten injured, had heart attacks because the water was so cold, like all these kind of things.
People drowning in the wave pool because they would just, it wasn't like assembled properly, so like people would just kind of sink to the bottom. Like it's ridiculous. Like you're and I'm looking at it going, and I remember myself when I was young. I go, so if I was of age back then, like my dumbass would have been there. So I was a teenager in the 90s. So I remember a carnival I was at where a girl like died on one of the rides, and I remember us the next day going, oh, we should see if that ride is still going so we can write it. So I remember what my dumb ass was like back then, so I'm like, yeah, I would have gone to that part. And it was,
oh my god, yeah,
it's funny because you're watching it from different perspectives. So you have the perspective of the people who were young and drinking a lot and going there, and how the park was used as like a badge of honor if you went there during the summer and got some kind of scars because of how dangerous everything was. So you'd go back to school and you'd show off your wounds and things like that. So you have these people kind of reminiscing sort of fondly about it, and at least in like a nostalgic sense, or it was like a part of their childhood. And it's crazy that we did this. How it's like almost like if Willy Wonka's factory existed in real life, it would probably be this, run by this this corrupt asshole making that. And so you'll have like a dude sitting there going, no, I see all these scams today, like Fire Festival and things like that. Not Action Park. The guy who ran it, Gene gave us what we wanted. But then you have like the tragic side of it, where like some people died. Some people died at this park. So then you also see from the point of view of these family members who tried to take on this company, and it was just a nightmare to take them to court. So you are seeing these fascinating different perspectives of this park, and it's probably is my favorite movie so far this year.
Man, now I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page of list of deaths at amusement parks. This is a very long list.
One, yeah.
But just to clarify, so this is just the park was Action Park, and it was not that you signed a specific wager that it's a specifically dangerous park. No, it was just a park where they cut so much corners on safety that people kept dying.
They had corners. They cut corners on safety. It was also one of the few amusement parks on the East Coast that you could have alcohol in.
Oh yeah, so people would be there like publicly shit-faced and then go on go-karts. And by the way, these go-karts could go like 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, and employees would rig them to go faster.
Yeah, it really was like the Purge.
Yeah, and then there was like a kayak ride, but the water was electrified by accident because they had all the wires for the kayaks in the water. So there was this person who got his kayak tipped over, and there was just exposed wire in the fucking lake. So he got an electric shock and had a heart attack and died. This place is amazing.
Like people just running speedboats into each other because of the exposed propellers behind the boats. One guy almost gets like decapitated. It's like I knew of it before the documentary. Like I'd never been there because I'd never been to New Jersey, and the park was like,
good for you.
At least I don't think I have. But so yeah, I'd never been or anything, but I knew of the park. So actually watching it here in this documentary, this very good documentary, like even I was reminiscing a lot about the stupid shit my friends and I used to do back then, whether it was carnivals or just other stuff we'd get drunk and go do. But even like little things like they talk about this spray where if you got injured, they would take you into the medical unit and just spray this orange shit on you that was like would burn like crazy. And even that was like reminding me of the stuff that we used to put on it was methylate was what it was called.
Oh, not even Neosporin.
No, it was methylate. They don't sell it anymore. And I actually just found out that they don't sell it anymore. My brother-in-law is a doctor, and we're all going out to eat, and I'm talking to him, and I'm saying, I go, do you have this, do you guys still use this stuff that they used to put on, this stuff that burned like crazy? We used to put on our wounds as a kid, or our parents would, because they were like, it burns, that means it's working. And so I said, methylate is what it was called, is what I told him. He goes like, I've never heard of this. And I texted my dad to make sure I had the name right. And I did. And I go, yeah, it's methylate. So I looked it up on my phone, showed my brother-in-law, and he looked at it and he goes, yeah, they took this off the market. He's like, because of like an insane amount of mercury that was in it. Like, so he's laughing and goes, what the hell kind of medicine were you guys on back then? Because I'm like 15 years older than he is. So, yeah. It was like one of those like 50s and 60s medicine that I was like the last generation to experience. Like Action Park was our class, actually it was little things like that was like really kind of taking me back quite a bit.
I gotta watch it. It's on my list along with McMillions, the whole like Ponzi scheme because of the McDonald's Monopoly game.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. Yeah, McMillions was really good. Both of them are on HBO Max, I think.
Yes, they're both on HBO Max because McMillions, I think, aired on HBO the channel first, and now is on HBO Max. Can I just say before we move to Max's Media, I looked up Action Park, and then it led me to a Wikipedia thing that list of incidents at independent amusement parks, so not Disneyland and all that stuff. And I found an amusement park I used to go to a lot in New York called Adventureland. There's more deaths there than I care to share. But my favorite one is this one employee who got hit by a roller coaster because that person has to live with the fact that they died by a coaster called the Ladybug coaster.
That's how
you couldn't have died at the hands of like the Ultimates or something. It's the Ladybug coaster. Which, from my memory, is a kiddie coaster. How fast was the kiddie coaster going?
Oh, dude, maybe it was like those go-karts that could go like 60 miles an hour.
It's like fucking bumper cars, and they just get... But
the one I saw, this was like, and I imagine this is probably on that list because it was a fatality, it was the amusement park here, and this was like 95, 96, I think. It was, and I still see this ride. It's called the Kamikaze, where the concept of it is kind of like the Ring of Fire, except it doesn't have the track. So it's just kind of these two things that go around in a loop. And a girl got on there and was like blind, I think. Like it was like this special needs class trip. And for whatever reason, they were like, oh, the Kamikaze, perfect. And she ended up trying to escape, and she got out of the fence that was like holding her in, and then got fell and got hit by the thing going back. I imagine this is probably on that list. And yeah,
I put a video of a Kamikaze ride in the chat, Max, so you see context. We used to have these at the town fair when I lived in Indiana. That was one of the only rides there. These things should not be legal. These things are a Final Destination story waiting to happen or has happened.
In that girl's case, yeah.
Yeah, these are at every fucking carnival in America, I swear, because this was also at like the Belmont County Fair in New York, like, except
I still
it's
see
much
them.
smaller.
I don't see them I think it's been a really long time since I've seen that I don't know if I've seen that in Springfield since that incident, but now in Springfield, they just kind of have the same set of rides because it's like the same like carnival group that was different than the one back then, I think.
Yeah.
But if I'm at like other fairs or other carnivals, I'll see the kamikaze at it.
Yeah, but I've seen those kind of rides here in Germany on carnivals too, so.
These things are terrifying, man, because there's always one seatbelt that doesn't quite latch in there.
Yeah. I can't believe it.
But I mean, haven't we been in Phantasialand, the one that flips over in that direction?
Yeah, but that one's actually much safer than these things that are put together with toothpicks and bubblegum. Like, come on.
Maybe that's the reason. Is. Because the German ones are probably up to German safety standards, so...
Yeah,
they look
I actually feel
same.
safe in those seatbelts. I don't feel safe in that because the seatbelt's just a fucking belt they got from Costco that they just hot glued onto the seat. Like, but no. Okay, well, I will definitely watch that one. But a very documentary-filled media. Max, give us something different.
It's very much not that. It's a Hollywood movie. Yay!
Oh yeah, what is it?
One of the few that's in cinema right now. So it is. Ready?
The Kamikaze? Mulan?
It's not even cinema. No, it's Tenet.
Tulsa.
Oh, this disappointment. Yeah. Okay.
Really? Is that bad?
I'm more disappointed in the technical aspects, given that it's a Nolan film. I expect it's mixed really badly. That's my biggest problem, and I'm a very auditory person because I've seen Tenet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
yeah, go on.
The thing about as you already said, Nolan film, which is what reminded me extremely about more Inception Nolan than Batman Nolan. So he has a crazy idea, and he gets an entire full budget AAA movie to explore this idea. And to not go too much into spoiler territory where this movie eventually goes, you just saw it. The thing is that there is. That's what the movie basically starts with, that there seems to be a future war where they can turn the time for objects around. So basically that there are bullets who go backwards through time. There's this very nice scene where by shooting, he basically brings them back into the gun. And so the entire idea Nolan played with, and before too much spoilery stuff becomes visible, we watched it in cinema, for reals, what I mentioned earlier. So I have to see he takes this idea and like very Nolan, the feel of it, like how people get introduced to this phenomenon and then he builds upon it and goes deeper. Like very Nolan.
As this man was way too influenced by fucking Urusei Yatsura.
Yeah, I mean,
fucking weeb.
Yeah, afterwards I was obviously the usual problem with whenever something with time anomalies goes into it, like thinking over it, because he established rules very nicely. They're easy to follow. Now comes the question, like, since the element itself is, at least to our current scientific knowledge, fiction, please correct me if there actually is something like reverse polarity of time on.
There's no reverse. There's theoretical things about the reverse polarity of time.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know,
they had
most science until put into a tangible thing is just theoretical.
But because there's also the thing that the movie basically opens with, that if this thing would exist, it would be invented in the future. we should have the consequences of it today, like those backward through time existing bullets in the movie. It's true. But yeah, I mean, like, that's always the thing. If an element that would exist backwards through time exists, we would already have it today because, well, we are in the future of that thing, so to speak. So, yeah, but besides that fictional aspect of it, the rules are pretty straightforward. And especially about events later in the movie, I am like, does this make sense? Would it really end this way? Really? I mean...
That's one of the problems with Tenet, though.
Yeah.
I mean, keep going on. I have my own opinions on Tenet, so go.
Fair. On the one hand, he keeps this entire time shenanigans relatively subtle, given where the movie goes, and like in regards to the visual bombasticness of it. So I'm also like, I'm not sure if this was a good call or a bad call, but at the end of the day, at least for a single watch, it was an interesting movie. And yeah, I don't regret being there in cinema. However, I would also say, like, I don't think it has the bombasticness of Inception. Like I guess this is a movie you have to compare it to the most because it is like the other fantastic sci-fi Nolan movie. And what also was problematic in this movie, I found, in Inception, it's a very narrow thing. We want to influence this one guy, and we have this team of protagonists we follow around. It's at the end of the day, still you get a better way through the story, a better narrative. While in Tenet, the scope is just like, as I mentioned before, there is this apparent temporal war in the future, and we are getting the remnants of it trickling down into the present. The scale of a war, we still follow a kind of team of Ragnar. We actually only follow one guy plus a few side characters, and I found it an interesting watch. But yeah, if I had if I could choose between Tenet and Inception, I would rewatch Inception for the 5th time. Mm-hmm. Maybe I give Tenet a second one, but after that, I guess like it doesn't have too much staying power.
I mean, yeah, Tenet has the whole thing of, it's a good thing to watch in theaters because it was a film, like most Nolan films, made for movie screens. Like, that was the whole big thing. And you know what? Kudos to him being like, I don't want to release it on VOD. But, you know, but he also was kind of like, don't expect people to go out to see it if you're sick. But I don't know. I like the rules they establish. Mm-hmm. Nolan usually has a pretty good grasp on sci-fi stuff and time loop things. But I don't know, man. It felt a little bit too confusing. And I think that's because, like you said, Inception is more personal with its conflict than this.
Yeah.
And that's just the problem with time loop and time traveling. Things with time, you should make them more personable. Unless you're a fucking comedy like Bill and Ted, then it's just, you know, you got to make it you got to make your scope smaller so you don't break the rules as much, because the butterfly effect and what you affect from time travel becomes way too vast, way too quick. But yeah, my biggest problem was the sound mixing was garbage. Because sometimes I just couldn't hear the characters. Like, they mixed everything to be a lot softer than what it should be. And I don't know why. Like, it made some dialogue just not audible to me. And I'm someone who is very noise sensitive. Like, I turn down things a lot. So the fact I couldn't hear it makes it really weird. But I don't think it's like a god-awful movie. I just think... Yeah, I just think it's kind of average.
It missed using its full potential.
It was just, it didn't really give me any reason to care about any of this. Like, I noticed the thing with the sound mixing. It didn't take me out of it too much. One, because I think I might have already been kind of checked out at that point. But also, I didn't know if I didn't know if that was a stylistic choice, like one of those scenes where like sound is going on really loud because it's just more about the mood. So I was so kind of not caring about what was going on that I sort of chalked it up to that. Now, if I was way more invested in it and had a reason to care, I think I might have maybe been trying to pay more attention to it. Not that I wasn't trying to pay attention to it, but like, so I didn't know if that was the case. And then going online that night and seeing all those people saying what you're saying about it, I was like, oh, okay, so that was a major problem.
It wasn't just me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, I didn't know if it was maybe like a problem with my projector either. But again, because that's happened. I remember when I went to go see Transformers 5 and the aspect ratio kept changing. And I was sitting there thinking, well, I don't want to mention this in the review because I don't know if it was just a problem with the projector. Come to find out, no, that's just the movie. In the case of Tenet, I didn't care about any of the people in the movie, any of the characters. They are just tools. They're just tools for asking questions, having them answered, and really not having much personality beyond that. When I reviewed it, I put it like this, where I said, like, it'd be like if you're watching The Matrix and the opening scene is the ledge scene outside of the building. 15 minutes in, you get the red pill, blue pill scene. 30 minutes in is the lobby shootout. And then 90 minutes in is the scene from the second one that's the highway chase. And I go, that looks cool, sure, but you've given me no reason to care about any of this.
Yeah,
Especially
and I think that's what...
I couldn't even explain what that movie is. The rules of what was going on, like I couldn't even explain that if I tried.
Yeah, but I think that's why Inception is the superior Nolan time film, because you do care about the characters in Inception because it's more personable to Tenet. I mean, the main character in Tenet is literally called the protagonist.
Yeah.
And even in the movie, that was weird. I am the protagonist. Am I the protagonist? You are not the protagonist.
And I didn't have that
very
problem.
student art film-y. Like,
Dude, it totally did. And with the characters, I didn't have that. Like, I disagree with what I've seen people say in the comments. Like, well, no Nolan movies have good characters. I'm like, that's not true. Like, Memento does, Insomnia does, the Batman movies do. Like, Interstellar has a lovable robot that, like, there's plenty of good characters in his movies. Like, not every one of his movies is like Dunkirk with the characters, but Dunkirk, I understand that. Like, Dunkirk, it felt necessary or intentional that it is more kind of about the situation that they're in versus making this kind of Saving Private Ryan character piece. So the way that the characters were in Dunkirk made sense to that film and that kind of movie. Whereas Tenet, it just feels like there's stuff missing. It just feels like they forgot to give any kind of dimension to these characters.
But yeah, one final thought before we then can move on to the questions. What I find interesting is like seeing all the Twilight characters outside of Twilight actually delivering, actually delivering quite decent performance. Sadly, getting
Rob Pattinson's a fantastic actor.
But sadly getting put into really not great movies. Like, I mean, Tenet. Once again, it's like interesting, but not a great movie, as we agreed. Then you have what's the Bella Swan, Christine Stewart. I remember watching the Charlie's Angel movie and was like, about the movie, but hey, I really like this performance. Wait, this is Bella Swan.
I like how in this, the fucking werewolf man is just nowhere.
Oh yeah, but he was in stuff.
Taylor Lautner's fallen off the face of the earth.
But he was in stuff.
His best performance.
Yeah, but he was in stuff before.
Was Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And then he did Twilight. And then he did like that one action thriller movie, and no one's heard from. And then he did Grown Ups 2. and no one's heard from him since.
And the ridiculous 6.
Oh my God, he should. It's a sad thing that apparently Rodriguez is making like a show, and he's bringing back like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, and Taylor Lautner's not coming back. They're bringing back Lava Girl, but not Shark Boy.
Yeah.
It's like, poor bastard. All he wanted to do was be a stuntman and maybe do some dancing. Like, it's just, he didn't ask to be the shirtless werewolf man all his life. But I guess with the royalties from Twilight, you know.
He's
set from it. Yeah, if he's clever and didn't throw it all out of the window for one first mention, and then hoped for the success to keep coming in.
I mean, Taylor Lautner, if you want to come on the show, we'll be perfectly happy. We're all has-beens. So. Well, not Brad, but we're all has-beens here. Like, you can come on. But yeah, now it's time for question time. The Q&A.
We haven't
Let's
played
see
this
what
song
you
in
people
forever.
have asked us for the 150th episode.
I believe there are not too many too special questions. I mean, we have one
we've had an Ask Cinema Snob and Ask Brad hashtag start in Discord because they just don't want to hear us talk.
It's fair. But I have one very fitting one which I maybe want to open with from Twitter. So our good friend and also awkward alumni, Chuggledy Buggle asks for our 150th episode. Why? Just why?
Well, you see, when a German and an American Italian like each other very much, they make a podcast.
Yeah, obviously.
And they don't know when to quit.
That's also true.
I mean, that's just a summation of me and Max's relationship for 6 years. We met and we don't know when to quit, so we're just still here.
I wish I could quit you.
What?
I wish I could quit you.
I don't know why that one got me. It did. That says something. But I mean, for people who don't know why the Awkward Cast started, me and Max would have calls that would be hours upon hours long. And every other time we had one, we were like, man, we should do a podcast. Yeah, I think that went on for like 8 months of us just saying like, we should do one. And then finally, I think when I finally moved into this apartment, not this room, but this apartment, we were like, yeah, let's do it. And then 3 years later, 4 years, 3 years.
We are in season 4. We started not at the beginning of whatever the first year was, 2016, I guess. We didn't start at the beginning of the year. Yeah. But yeah, I remember how we first started audio only. Then I turned my webcam on, pressuring you in joining. Then we got like guests for like the milestone episodes.
Every 10th episode,
exactly.
I think.
And then like, for next year, for season 2, how about we have one every week? Here we are.
Okay. And then began my job of getting the guests.
Well, I mean, you took the job
I took
and
that
you
job
grabbed
on
it.
myself because I'm a good networker. That's not. I'm not complaining. I'm saying that started my job.
After this love letter you wrote to Jesse Cox, which I read over and was like, yeah, I would not have been able to write it this good. You were like the perfect mixture of a little bit of a compliment, throwing in.
Max, don't reveal my secrets.
Wait, I mean, this would require future guests to watch it now. Whoever we already got is like, yeah.
Well, we get them back. The thing is that alumni guests have seen me get more and more casual with talk. I mean, when I messaged Brad this week, I was like, yo, Brad, through Twitter DM.
Yeah.
Did you come on?
Yeah, but it's always different. Like veteran guest, we are like, hey, they except for the one guy I scared off forever, the child I traumatized to never come back. Most are like, okay, it's not as bad. They actually do a okay job.
We're somewhat professional.
Yeah.
The American one is fine. I'm kidding.
But yeah, a proper question.
Yeah, a proper question. I like this one that Furious Quarantine asked, saying, if you could turn into a car, what type of car? And if you want to go the extra mile, what brand of car would you be? Don't forget to say why. Mostly because I get to live out my dream of being Turbo Teen.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually true because
everyone's
you turn. Wait, Turbo Teen is Turbo Teen the one I think it is?
Turbo Teen's the one where the kid turns into a car and that's his superpower.
I need to show that. That is transform.
It's terrifying.
Transform.
Don't pull up the Robot Chicken short where he turns into a car.
I watched it as a child, so I actually was very. For me, it was actually not too disturbing because this is what I grew up with. Like, here's a kid, like, because some kind of lightning storm and chemicals made him and his car turn into one.
Someone got paid to board and animate it. That's my thing.
Yes.
Like, so John, what was your first
face.
animation job? Oh, I animated the intro for Turbo Teen.
Yeah, and he is
that means there's cells existing of this transformation, and I want to own them. But no, if I had to turn into a car.
Yes.
Like, the most realistic thing would probably be a Volkswagen Beetle or something because it's small and compact just like me. But if I want to be one that I want to be, some kind of convertible.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I would be some kind of like convertible, but like one from the 70s that's like a really loud color. Because that's just me, loud, colorful, and the top comes off very often.
Wait, what? I did. This one took a moment to work.
Until it came out of my mouth. Shut up. But no, I think that would be, but I don't know car brands, so.
Same.
Same. So you're not getting a car brand from any of us today. But that's
actually,
mine. Some kind of loud-colored 70s convertible.
Yeah, I will probably go with actually the car brand. So I used to have an Opel Corsa, which is like Opel is it a German brand? I believe it's a German brand. It's like Volkswagen, but not. Wait, I can just. Opel is automobiles, a German automobile manufacturer. Yeah, so it's this circle with a horizontal flash through it.
I think I've seen a few when I visit.
Probably. It's a very common one. It's a common, very standard German brand. It doesn't have the notoriety of a Volkswagen. It's not like the Mercedes or BMWs who have this high prestige. It's a solid German brand. And while I used to have an Astra Corsa, I dare to say that I'm by now a bit more grown up, a little bit more not just my student car, but I probably would be an Opel Astra, a nice, big, solid car, nothing special, but a very good and reliable, sturdy thing.
Remember the conversation that I talked about of the drinks that we are? I think that was loud 70s convertible. That's nice, solid off.
As we say in German, jeder Popel fährt nen Opel. Anyways, Brad.
Oh, I'll be the car from My Mother, the Car. the you don't know that old sitcom where Jerry Van Dyke's mom is reincarnated into a car.
Yeah, that show.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and be that one. Like, it's a 60s sitcom universe, so nothing that bad happens in it. I just have to kind of go around and give Jerry Van Dyke advice. It seems safe enough.
I like the idea of you driving just next to your friends and giving advice to people. Like fucking Rob and Doug are just walking to the office and they just see the car through the window of the office and it's just beep beep.
Oh yeah.
What, Brad?
Like I'm just talking through the radio. I don't know what kind of car. It's like an old timey car. I'd be that. Because I feel like everyone else would be turning into like Kit or the DeLorean or
Tesla.
Yeah, oh yeah, the Cybertruck or like Christine or something. Whereas like I'll be the only one who is my mother the car.
I thought we could have gone through this question without someone mentioning the car that cursed my childhood.
Oh well.
Try being a woman named Christine when the movie Christine. Everything was murder. Everyone thought that I was going to murder people because because of that car, and I'm like, do I look like a car to you?
Exactly. She murders people with kitchen knives, or at least she threatens on a regular basis.
No, I threaten you on a regular basis.
Yes, am I not people?
No, you're Max.
Okay, fair point.
But no, thank you for that question, Furious Quarantine. I like that one. What's a Twitter one we got, dude?
I guess I only have 2 more, so I can bring them both. One, very specific, directly to you, Brett, and I have no idea what he's talking about, but you might be. Jeff Pradyuksbor. I think, I hope, I don't know.
Perfect.
Yes. Hey, Brett, were you interviewed for the upcoming documentary In Search of Tomorrow? If you were, what did you talk about?
Oh, was I interviewed for it? No, I'm not in it. But the guys who produced it were really cool, and they reached out to me, as they did some other YouTubers as well, like Cecil from Good Bad Flicks, and a few others. It was just to help them promote it. Like we became affiliates to help promote the fundraising for their documentary for. A couple of weeks we did that, but no, we weren't interviewed for it. But it does look really, really cool.
I'm just looking at this poster, and I have to say, yes, it does. What is this?
It's a documentary on like 80s sci-fi movies, and they also did a documentary too on 80s horror movies that was really good. So yeah, they have a whole bunch of names attached to this, and so yeah, they definitely get a lot of names involved and a lot of research and everything, and they do a really, really damn good job putting these together. So that should be really cool when it comes out.
Nice.
Yeah.
I try to keep an eye open for it. But yeah, with that, back to you to the Discord, Chrissy.
Thanks. God, a lot of the people asked multiple questions this time around instead of a bunch of people asking one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to do another Furious Quarantine one, but he just asked one that's really good. So I'm going to do it. Furious Quarantine asks again, sorry this came in the middle of the show, but what game show would you want to be on? Yes, I grew up watching game shows. Here's the thing. I'm going to make it that we are the contestant on this show because there's a lot of game shows where you're in the audience and you don't get picked.
Oh, yeah.
Like what was it? Was it like Take the Deal where everyone's dressed up as like a ridiculous thing in the audience to try to get picked by the host?
Let's Make a Deal.
Yeah, Let's Make a Deal. That's it.
Or what would you do? And things like that.
Yeah. What I would do, I want to be on Jeopardy. 1, because I know a lot of trivia, and 2, even if I fail, I could make a legacy by failing spectacularly. Because especially in the Final Jeopardy, if I don't know the answer to that Final Jeopardy, I'm just going to make the most ridiculous answer. And then I'll be known. My prize is a legacy, not money.
Good enough.
God, if I ever went on Jeopardy, I'd just have to like cross my fingers that there's at least like 1 or 2 movie or TV related categories. It's like the only thing I would do well on.
I feel faith, given that one episode they had a whole video game category that no one answered a question correctly. And one of the questions was Fortnite. Like, the answer was Fortnite. But I pick Jeopardy, personally.
I guess I would, maybe Double Dare. That might be fun.
Oh my God, I forgot that Double Dare was a game show.
Mm-hmm.
I would totally do Double Dare. As long as I don't have to go on with a family, I could just bring the people I know. Like, bring Max and Lauren and Brett and people and just be like, I want to go on Double Dare, especially for the physical challenges. I want to get covered in slime, especially since I found out the slime is just vanilla pudding that's dyed green.
Oh yeah. The slime, do the slime, and like you get to the end, so you get that sweet VHS camcorder.
I get to go to space camp, like.
Yeah. Like I still had the NES game for that, and have never been able to win the final course at the end of it. It's so
I mean, like most people in Double Dare can win the final course, especially when the part where they have to look through that peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Or the nostrils.
Or they're going through the pipe and they grab it and it slips out of their hands because their hands are covered in goop.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd love to go on that. Yeah, that would probably be my that would probably be my number one. And being like much older than I was when it was first on, the questions are a lot easier now as an adult.
Yeah. Okay, Max, we stalled for you. What is yours?
Coming from an actually true fact, long line of game show contestants. Let me see. My mom, grandmother, and sister were on Köpfchen. We were on Familienduell twice. One time even with me as a contestant. My sister
is that
was
Family
on das
Feud?
Golden. Could be. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, it is. I believe you actually have the American version.
Oh my God, you were on German Family Feud?
Yep. And my family was one time, and you see me doing the credits running in as a little tick, 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 tick. I wasn't old enough yet. But yeah, then a later time we did the trick by having my sister, who has had a new name by then due to marriage, have it as her family reappear, because a family is actually not allowed to compete twice. Then my oldest sister also was on Goldenes Ei, which was a show. My other sister was on Ruckzuck. So yeah, we actually have it. No, I have an idea what I want to be on, because I'm not the brainy guy. But what I'm good at, I'm not sure if this exists yet as a game show. So first of all, invent this game show.
To us?
I'm pitching a show and I want to be a contestant on it. It's an escape room game show.
Yes, there is escape room game show.
Nice.
There was, I think there was fun. Yeah, Legends of the Hidden Temple was essentially an escape room show.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. I for some reason I thought you were gonna say, "Are you smarter than a fifth grader?"
I might have a chance.
Sorry,
I might have a chance.
But
that'd be one of the hardest to go on.
Oh man. You know what?
Yeah. What?
I want Nick Arcade to come back. That was the best, where your questions were all based off video games, and then the points you get would be going in front of a green screen and trying to beat the video game. We have VR now. Imagine how cool that would be.
Yeah, like remote control or something like that.
Yeah, I want Nickelodeon game shows to come back. But so what about Twitter again?
Oh, my last one from good old reliable J-Rock. For all three, what Disney movie do you think is underrated and why? Are there any underrated Disney movies?
Black Cauldron.
Touche. Ahead of its time.
People sleep on Black Cauldron, and it's really sad in an era where we are getting, films like Treasure Planet and Atlantis coming back into reality. We need Black Cauldron to be given the love it deserves, because Lord knows fucking Katzenberg fucked over that movie so hard with his grape nut ice cream loving ass.
But that's a question. Is Black Cauldron officially the end product? Was it really a good movie? I mean, it had the dark side of it, which was amazing. But fun fact, I believe I haven't seen it, or I haven't seen it in recent enough that I can remember it. And I heard that the story arc of the heroes in its cutesy nature and whatnot was kind of underwhelming. That the dark side of it was amazing.
I personally liked it.
Okay.
I think it fit the tone that Disney just had at the time, because it had a very slow burn feel to it, which I equated to Sword in the Stone, which also is very much a slow burn movie when you rewatch it as an adult. But I personally like it. I like Princess Eloise. I like the hero. The only person I don't particularly enjoy is that Snarf character, but it's the 80s. I can forgive it. The fucking Lich King in that movie is fucking terrifying, and I love it. And I personally think we can look back on that movie with a modern eye and see the good that was there more. And I would not mind a live action fantasy movie using that template because, like you said, there are people that have criticisms with the characters' arcs and stories, and that film with the visuals we can do today would be great. Personally, I just kicked myself in the ass because Disneyland Japan had a horror haunted house thing in Disneyland Japan that the main villain was the Lich King from Black Cauldron, and it looked fucking awesome, and I'll never get to go see it. So my answer is Black Cauldron.
Also, I just see in the chat like they keep listing underrated Disney after underrated Disney. So,
okay, the direct-to-video movies are not choices. You can't say Cinderella 3 and Bambi 2. I mean, I agree with you, but you can't pick. You have to pick theatrical ones. And if I see someone say Peter Pan 2 or Jungle Book 2, you can leave. You're not allowed in this house anymore. Those movies are shit.
I guess Treasure Planet would maybe be mine pick, totally not stolen from the chat or anything.
Oh, Magical Star. Meet the Robinsons is underrated. I love Meet the Robinsons.
I mean, would Hunchback count? Because it got like kind of mixed reviews when it came out.
Yeah, its legacy is definitely underrated because you don't see a lot of it being promoted anymore when you talk about the Renaissance. And I mean, we already know that the stage adaptation never made it to America. It's just stuck with the Germans.
I would say because Hunchback's one of my favorite ones from the 90s. I love it, and it's one of those where it's kind of the definition of a flawed masterpiece because it's got its flaws with the gargoyles, of course, but there's something about the gargoyles to where it's so out of place that it makes this like full circle into being like really like
it works.
What's the word I'm looking for? Like it endearing, kind of, like, because it goes so far in that direction that it's kind of amusing because of that. But everything that's great about it is perfect, from Frollo, who's one of the best Disney villains of all time, to the opening sequence, the animation and everything. Like, it really is a spectacle. Like, they're bringing back all this stuff to theaters. Like, I wish they would bring that one back.
I don't know if this makes me lose my credibility as a film person.
Uh-oh.
I love the Jason Alexander gargoyle, and most of the time when I quote Hunchback of Notre Dame, I'm usually quoting Jason Alexander gargoyle. Mostly the part where he's like, "Oh look, a nun," or scare some nuns, and then he sees a mime and he starts spitting on it, because that's just me.
I've done that too. I'll quote like, "Hold the wine and cut the cheese." Like, it was. You could tell where their head was at, because it was like, because you saw this a lot with those Disney movies around then, where it was like, oh, Robin Williams as the genie worked great. We need something like that in every other movie. But there's context to the genie and everything in Aladdin, and it's kind of a comedy anyway. It makes no sense for the gargoyles to be like this.
I think the last time they did that properly was like Phil and Hercules with Danny DeVito. But it's very hard to fuck up Danny DeVito. Let's be fair here. He offers you eggs in trying times. But
ones that kind of have more of a comedic tone anyway, like Hercules and like Emperor's New Groove.
Mm-hmm. But thank you for that question, J-Rock. You're always there to give us stuff. So Discord. Now we are all just on Discord again. I like this one. from Adult Mutant Ninja Kraken. I like, has there been a movie that stuck out for you because of its particular use of color that made you feel things? This is a topic, Denim, that I am very passionate about. I have wrote so many scripts for talking about the use of color in films. Thank you.
I could have answered something for her other question. This one
I don't care. This is my show. We can answer the next question after, honey. This is just the first one.
One with the colors.
I mean, Sin City is obvious, so.
Yeah.
But I personally, because there's a psychology around our mental associations with what certain colors make us feel. I mean, there's been millions of studies. There's societal things like how we associate purple and gold with royalty and the church or Easter. And that's because, when you have certain things, our minds will just associate colors with feelings. Like if you see a scene with lots of yellow, it can bring up anxiety or innocence, and like that kind of thing. Sin City is a really good one, though. Because I love the use of color isolation in that movie. Mm. Okay, I think I'm going to go back to Hunchback. I think Hunchback has a brilliant use of color because if you actually took screenshots from each scene of the movie and made a color key for it, the shifts of the kind of muted blues that you have in the beginning that made Frollo's red and purple and black stand out, and then these scenes and out there with the much brighter colors, the Festival of Fools, all that kind of stuff, all just leading in slowly you see the tones getting warmer and warmer until everything is just bathed in red from the sanctuary scene, and then you finally get this light gold yellow at the end. It's a fucking genius. Most Disney and Pixar movies are genius with their use of color. Finding Nemo is also really good in that. So I think I'll say Finding Nemo and Hunchback, not to do the default answer of Sin City, which is my first answer when it comes.
I'll say Suspiria, like a Dario Argento movie.
Ooh, yeah.
Deep Red or something, opera. He makes that blood pop. That's that, and the music and the soundtrack choice are. You'll take a movie like Suspiria where your tension, your unease, and everything comes from the visuals, from the colors, the cinematography, and the soundtrack as well. More so than it really does the details about the plot.
Yeah, I wish this was for shows, because shows use color much more effectively, especially with character designs and what characters wear. Because people are like, why are characters color coded half the time? And it's not only for defining characters, but also for their own arcs, which a lot of shows do that I really like. But Max, we stalled long enough. You got to pick something, dude.
I guess since you already brought up Sin City, bringing up 300 doesn't count. Now
300 doesn't count. 300 is good though.
It is, and with the sapphire colors and everything, not sapphire colors. Sepia colors. I know it's similar to the German word, but pronounced completely different. To maybe go with a little bit more of original one, which maybe was even Denim's thought behind it. Since I watched The Color from Outer Space with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's got colors right in the title.
What does that make you feel? Innate rage?
It's so stupid how they. I mean, on the one hand, the color from outer space, it goes beyond any description a human could ever come up with. It's purple. It's just purple in the freaking movie. Which, didn't we on this show here have the great idea? You know what would have worked so much better for the freaking movie? Making it black and white, so you literally cannot see the color. But no, we instead went with full color and made it purple, and even Nick Cage.
Because people don't want to watch black and white movies, and Nick Cage, it makes them too old and boring.
Yeah, or maybe have some effect there instead of purple. Have some kind of shifty color, flickering,
iridescent or something.
Or something
it should have been white. Because white is every color.
But then he can. But then you could still describe it. But no, the use of purple in this movie. I mean, especially since they try so hard to. I see this. I cannot do a good Nick Cage, but I see this color. It's like purple. But no, it's not. It's like some I have never seen before. No, you said it is purple. It's this kind of like. Goes through the movie when they're so
Did someone
hard.
clip Max genuinely angry saying, "You said it was purple"?
It's like they try so hard to make it work, but it doesn't work in a visual medium. So just the idiocy of their attempt is what was the literal wording of the question? The literal wording of the question was
The colors made you feel things.
exactly,
Made
and
you
this
feel
is
anger.
the description. Yes.
But okay, one more before we go to the next question. Repo to Genetic Operas also has a great use of color.
Oh, yeah.
I also think Repo is just a great movie that people should watch.
Still need to watch it. By the way, I got a last minute one in on Twitter.
Oh boy.
From Metric Anaglyph. I'm not sure how much of a gamer you are, Brett, but
A little.
what is the worst female armor you have seen in any video game?
Oh God, I have no idea.
Well,
I don't even know. Gosh, I can't even think of something. The worst female armor?
Yeah, I mean the joke is that in many, especially RPGs, when you get to heavy plating and the same armor that on a dude who started out in a lined shirt, suddenly it's like this metal.
And then women get like bikinis.
A metal bikini.
Oh,
like
sure.
both of them start out in a t-shirt, and the higher tier the armor goes, the guy gets buffer and buffer, and the girl gets more and more skimpy.
I don't play a lot of RPGs, so I can't think of an answer.
I don't really have one either. I guess if we went by costumes, there's that Kerrigan cheerleader skin that's in it's in Heroes of the Storm.
Oh, yeah,
that
brutal.
one's great.
That is
especially
brutal.
with some of the ugliest sin colors you can get for it.
Those were some horrible armors. That's true. I guess I go with World of Warcraft for one specific one in good old original pre-first add-on World of Warcraft. In Vanilla Warcraft, which I played back in the day. Yes, I'm that old. There was one line, one of the stupid jokes that when you type in /joke and your character has one of the jokes. I was playing a human woman, and one of her lines was like, down the lines of, yeah, me and the other girls like to switch our clothes because we all wear the same size. It's like, for the stupidity of that joke, I say World of Warcraft has the stupidest armors for females because it's connected to this joke.
Jesus. Okay, since it's getting later, let's do 2 more questions. Okay. From Glorified Typist. What's the worst movie you loved reviewing? As in a movie that's so bad that you had fun tearing it down. I guess this is for Brad, but I could think of movies that are so bad that I love.
I will.
Yeah.
So bad that
ones
I love
that were
it?
like ones that were like a blast to do a video on. Gosh, I love doing the melodramas. Just
What was that one with the lady that made like a war bunker closet thing because she was talking to an old woman?
Oh yeah, War Room.
War Room. Oh
yeah.
my God.
The religious dramas are fun to do, like War Room and God's Not Dead, but like the forgotten 80s melodramas that are like dead movies, like no one talks or even references them anymore, and they're almost like just little like time capsules in a way. Things like Windy City or Until September, because sometimes you'll just find a gem that gives you more material to work with than you'd think you'd get. So like Until September, which is this romantic drama with Karen Allen and this I forget his name, this French actor, and it's like wildly creepy, like unintentionally creepy. Like it's almost like a horror movie, like stalker film, but it's supposed to be romantic. Things like that, like where I'm like, no one talks about this kind of movie, so it's fun to spotlight that.
I'm gonna cheat a little bit on my end. Oh, you had? Sorry.
Oh no, my answer is probably my favorite kind of movies, which are from the early 2000s.
The Apple.
Fucking Crocodile Hunter.
Oh,
God. Because, and I've said this on the show, if you put horror movie music behind most of those scenes, it seems like a psychological thriller. And I love making my friends watch it.
I remember I saw that.
Many comedies back in the early 2000s were just psychological thrillers with music. Because Max Keeble's Big Move is also kind of a psychological thriller, especially the part with the fucking bully, and they come in with the frog costume, and it just slowly gets darker and darker. And then the next scene is just the kid under the bleachers in a fetal position because he was traumatized by that character as a kid. What the fuck? But those are my answers.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat for mine, and I turn the movie into a show.
Okay.
The one that basically has forever been in the back of my mind, but it would require me to actually rewatch the show to write a proper review and not just, if I remember this correctly, this was stupid. No, but Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. This is like, it started out, the pilot was so great, it got me hooked. Like the concept of the Cylons in Human, the Cylon sleeper agent, was introduced so brilliantly and handled so insanely shitty throughout the entire show. After the reveals of identities in the pilot, any other reveal was fucked up. They didn't have a single good Cylon reveal after the ones in the opening. And then later they were like, haha, there are more than 7. There are the final 5. So let us spoil the identity of 4 of them in one move at the end of an episode, the season. And I was like, why? You just gave yourself a second chance to introduce the guessing game, the drama, the everything. And nope, here they are. Why? It's like
throwing darts at names where it was like, yeah, okay, he's one, this person's one, that person's one.
But the reveals were shit. That's the thing. And the sad thing is that there is a board game, the Battlestar Galactica board game, which is a murder when it comes to the rules, because this is kind of the games where you need half an hour to explain the rules. But once you're in it, me and my friends used to play it every other week because it's so brilliant. It captures this idea of, are you a Cylon or not? So the identity cards you have in the beginning, like, am I or am I not? So so the thing is, for the first half of the game, there might be a Cylon. There might be 2 Cylons. There might be no Cylon at all, but you're still thinking like, fuck, is one of us a Cylon? And at the halfway point of the game, everybody gets a second identity card. So it could be that suddenly you become a Cylon. So you have been a Cylon the entire time, and the game captures this idea so much better than the show, and this angers me for years now, but I never sat down and wrote the script, and by now I've forgotten the show, because it had such a god-awful ending.
Rewatch it.
But the ending is so god-awful. But yeah, maybe I have to rewatch it just to have my material at hand to then be like, okay, now I rip into it. It has been two decades in the making.
I just imagine you kick down the cobwebbed door of the Team A&Y Discord and being like, Sean, I have a thing for you. It's my magnum opus, and it's just you tearing apart this reboot.
Okay.
But
Twitter now is officially dry, yes.
We are at our final thing because I have ripped off all my nail polish, so I think it's almost time to end this show. Our favorite part, from Enigma Force. To commemorate a grandiose event like this, we need to go places well known for celebrating big events and achievements, but also these places can be scary and even amorous with stories behind them. Anyway, let's go big and bold with fuck, marry, kill, party celebration spots, as in places to commit these acts in are usually enjoyable places. Disneyland, a cruise ship, and a limo or party bus, your choice of either. I'm just going to assume that, I'm going to assume
Get your
that this is pre-COVID, so I'm not going to get a disease at any of these places.
Yes. Obviously, the places are cleaned and sterilized, and everybody gets a. up their nose before they're allowed to enter.
But here's the thing. I know that he said as in places to commit these acts, but I have to personify them.
Yeah, fair. But yeah.
Because
get your champagne. Obviously, they're personified, but yeah, get your champagne glasses, some cleaning supplies to clean up, and probably a
reliable ally to have as backup, because we are at 150, and that in and of itself is an achievement and a feat. Yes,
true.
It is. How many of these have we done? FMKs for?
He specifies in the chat. It's pre-COVID. So
okay,
we
good.
time travel.
Brad, our lovely guest, who loves coming on this show.
Of course.
Fuck, marry, kill. Disneyland, a cruise ship, or a party bus.
So these are like, not that I'm like fucking the concept of these places, but what I'm doing that in these places.
No, the concept of
you're
those places.
fucking the concept.
If Disney, if a party
Disneyland
bus
was a
would
person, if a cruise ship was a person, if a party bus was a person, kind of
thing.
And would bring to your life the feelings of this place.
I'll fuck the limo party bus, marry Disney.
But why? Do you have to explain why your decision?
Well, marry Disney because, it's the happiest place on earth. Like, you fuck the party bus because you probably have sex in a party bus anyway.
True.
And kill the cruise ship. Not that I have anything against them, but I've never been on one, and I don't know if I would be on one. So I'm more likely to miss Disneyland and a limousine than I would a cruise ship. So.
All right.
If you go I'm getting drunk at either three of them.
Exactly. A drunk killing of a cruise ship. You know the bottle of champagne you hit against a ship to christen it. It's just him drinking it and then doing the fucking fire spit thing because he has the alcohol in his mouth.
Oh,
but Max.
Yes. This actually leaves me a setup open, which I'm very comfortable with, and I hope it makes you extra uncomfortable, Keyframe, with what I leave you over.
Okay,
so,
well, let's see.
First of all, I'm not the most family friendly guy, and also I can't stand wholesomeness for too long, so I gotta fuck Disneyland. Also, I'm a furry. Look at the wall behind me. Of course, I'm gonna fuck Disneyland.
Yeah, I mean, Disney caused many furries, so.
It's true.
So, man, I'm just imagining. How many secret fucks do you think has happened in Disneyland over the years?
Tons.
You have to think about this. You have to think about this.
Daily?
Walt Disney had a room in Disneyland. Walt Disney probably fucked in Disneyland.
Oh yeah, he did that shit.
But yeah, Disneyland, furry, happiness, a lot of creativity. We are going through all the genres and cosplays there. Anyway, so time to move on to
marriage.
Yeah, murder. Murder is easier to explain.
Oh, okay, murder.
I mean, party limousine is just such a cliche, and at the end it's just like woohoo, feeling rich for one day. The party bus, I don't know. This entire concept is like partying, but it's reduced to a bus. I don't know. It's not my thing, so kill it. I don't really.
Okay.
But cruise ship. Think about it. Who normally goes on cruise ships? Who does it?
People?
Not necessarily, but my mom was on it. I did a small cruise once.
You're gonna marry your mom?
It's for old people. That was a punchline I was building up to. Thank you very much. It's for old people who are more in a quieter part, who enjoy just standing at the railing guide, Gale, standing there with the breeze in their face, the horizon, having some
the human trafficking cases.
Exactly. That's how I want to spend the rest of my life. No, it sounds like something chill to keep. I couldn't be all Disney until the end of my life.
I think I made Lauren choke, and I don't know, given the Twitch delay, if I made her choke from saying the human trafficking or you marry your mom. Okay, wait, what does that leave me? So you fuck Disneyland and you married Disneyland, so I have
Yep.
no.
Yep.
I have
You're
to.
welcome.
Oh, okay. You killed the cruise ship you married. No, no.
So maybe to
That's
explain,
awkward.
Brett.
Okay, no. All right.
We
So
usually try to give unique answers to not recycle, and if there are three people and there are three possible answers, the combination, you are locked in for the final combination, and you need to still
yes,
explain it.
I'm usually locked in for the final combo, and I have to bullshit why I picked these things.
I used to do the final one in the past. You took it over at some point because you're a masochist.
Because I'm a masochist. Anyway, so I'm going to kill Disneyland and make thousands of people cry. That's my reason. I want to make people cry. And you know what? Maybe I'll be viewed as a savior to the city of Anaheim.
Or maybe, I mean, look at it. Since Brett already married Disneyland, he stole your gold digger answer, so obviously, if I can't have it, nobody can.
Oh. Yeah, sure. So I killed Disneyland because of that. I'm going to marry the party bus. Because, if there's anything we've learned on this show, and my time online, is that I do not have a good taste in men. And if there was a way I could define the men in my life, it's probably a party bus. So that's love and marriage. And hey, maybe the limo has a rich guy in it. I don't know. God damn it. I hope no employer ever sees these podcasts. I go for an interview with Cartoon Network, and it's like, so you really like our characters? This FMK you did on this show. And I'm going to fuck the cruise ship. Because that's what water sports is, right? Fucking on a cruise ship. No. No. I guess I'll fuck the cruise ship because there's a sense of adventure. There's a sense of mystery. There's an alluring thing of the unknown because they follow fair time laws because no country owns the sea, which is why murders that are taking place on cruise ships are harder to prosecute. Yeah. I know this information. Don't ask. So yeah, I'll fuck that because I am a citizen of the world. I am the world's whore. Don't you give me that look. Don't you dare.
My favorite answers.
My favorite answers. The ones where I can make myself out to be a whore. Anyways, we usually end this show with saying that's awkward, but I think, I'm going to end it with saying, we're sorry. And
you're sorry.
We're sorry. But thank you guys for 150 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. That's a lot of Sundays that we have taken in our lives. Or in the one case of our Australian guest, a Saturday evening. But Brad, thanks for joining us for this 150th episode. You're always great.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for having me on again.
No problem. We love having you on. Someday we need to get the Rob or someone on to balance it out. But till then, everyone, stay awkward.
To 150 more.
My empty Mountain Dew.
My empty Game Grumps bottle and his fancy. Again, he out-fancies us.
A and Y and Key say hi to the people in the chat. The memes are seen on this live stream as they talk about random crap. It's time for awkward guests. It's the awkward. Random guests and funny gags on the awkward guests. It's the awkward. Artwork and analysis which you do not want to miss on awkward.